To Them Who Trust in Fortune by Thomas Moore (LibriVox.org), Perth, Western Australia. Thou that art proud of honour, shape, or kin, That heapest up this wretched world its treasure, Thy fingers shined with gold, thy tawny skin With fresh apparel garnished out of measure, And weenest to have Fortune at thy pleasure, Cast up thine eye, and look how slippery Chance Alludeth her men with change and variance. Sometimes she look'th as lovely, fair, and bright As goodly Venus, mother of Cupid; She becketh and she smileth on every wight. But this cheer feigned may not long abide; There cometh a cloud, and farewell all our pride. Like any serpent she beginn'th to swell, And look'th as fierce as any fury of hell. Yet for all that, we brittle men are fain, So wretched is our nature and so blind, As soon as Fortune list to laugh again With fair countenance and deceitful mind, To crouch and kneel and gape after the wind, Not one or twain, but thousands in a rout Like swarming bees come flickering her about. Then as a bait she bringeth forth her ware, Silver and gold, rich pearl and precious stone, On which the amazed people gaze and stare, And gape therefore as dogs do for a bone. Fortune at them laugheth, and in her throne Amid her treasure and wavering riches, Proudly she heaveth as lady and empress. Fast by her side doth weary Labour stand, Pale Fear also, and Sorrow all bewept; Disdain and Hatred on that other hand Eke restless watch, from sleep with travail kept, His eyes drowsy and looking as he slept. Before her standeth Danger and Envy, Flattery, Deceit, Mischief, and Tyranny. About her cometh all the world to beg; He asketh land, and he to pass would bring This toy and that, and all not worth an egg. He would in love prosper above all thing; He kneeleth down and would be made a king; He forceth not so he may money have, Though all the world account him for a knave. Lo see ye thus, divers heads, divers wits! Fortune alone is divers, as they all, Unstable, here and there among them flits, And at a venture down her gifts they fall. Catch whoso may, she throweth great and small, Not to all men as cometh sun or dew, But for the most part all among a few. And yet her brittle gifts long may not last; He that she gave them looketh proud and high, She whirl'th about, and pluck'th away as fast, And giveth them to another by and by. And thus from man to man continually She useth to give and take, and slyly toss One man to winning of another's loss. And when she robbeth one, down goeth his pride; He weep'th and waileth, and curseth her full sore; But he who receiv'th it on t'other side Is glad, and blesseth her oftentimes therefore. But in a while, when she loveth him no more, She glideth from him, and her gifts they too, And he her curseth, as other fools do. Alas! the foolish people cannot cease, Nor void her train, till they the harm do feel; About her alway busily they press. But Lord, how he doth think himself full well That may set once his hand upon her wheel! He holdeth fast, but upward as he steereth, She whip'th her wheel about, and there he lieth. Thus fell Julius from his mighty power; Thus fell Darius, the worthy king of Persia; Thus fell Alexander, the great conqueror; Thus many more that I may well rehearse. Thus double Fortune, when she list reverse Her slippery favour from them that in her trust, She flieth her way, and lieth them in the dust. She suddenly enhanceth them aloft, And suddenly mischieveth all the flock. The head that late lay easily and full soft, Instead of pillows lieth after on the block. And yet, alas, the most cruel proud mock, The dainty mouth that ladies kiss'd have, She bringeth in the case to kiss a knave. In changing of her course the change showeth this: Up starts a knave, and down there fall'th a knight. The beggar rich, and the rich man poor is; Hatred is turned to love, love to despite. This is her sport, thus proveth she her might. Great boast she maketh, if one be by her power Wealthy and wretched both within an hour. Poverty, that of her gifts will nothing take, With merry cheer looketh upon the press, And seeth how Fortune's household goeth to wreck. Fast by her standeth the wise Socrates, Aristippus, Pythagoras, and many a leash Of old philosophers; and eke against the sun Baketh him poor Diogenes in his tun. With her is Bias, whose country lacked defence, And whilom of their foes stood so in doubt, That each man hastily gan to carry thence, And asked him, why he nought carried out? "I bear," quoth he, "all mine with me about." Wisdom he meant, not Fortune's brittle fees, For nought he counted his which he might leese. Heraclitus eke list fellowship to keep With glad poverty, Democritus also; Of which the first can never cease but weep To see how thick the blinded people go, With labour great, to purchase care and woe. The other laugh'th to see the foolish apes, How earnestly they walk about their japes. Of this poor sect it is common usage Only to take that nature may sustain; Banishing clean all other surplusage, They be content, and of nothing complain. No niggard eke is of his good so fain, But they more pleasure have 1,000-fold The secret draughts of nature to behold. Set Fortune's servants by them an ye wall, That one is free, that other ever thrall; That one content, that other never full; That one in surety, t'other like to fall. Who list to advise them both, perceive he shall As great difference between them, as we Betwixt wretchedness and felicity. Now have I showed ye both; choose what ye list: Stately Fortune, or humble Poverty; That is to say, now lieth it in your fist To take here bondage or free liberty. But in this point an ye do after me, Draw ye to Fortune, labour her to please, If that ye think yourself too well at ease. And first upon thee lovely shall she smile, And friendly on thee cast her wandering eyes, Embrace thee in her arms, and for a while Put thee and keep thee in fool's paradise; And forthwithal, whatso thou list devise, She will grant thee it liberally, perhaps, But for all that, beware of afterclaps. Reckon ye may never of her favour sure. You may in clouds as easily trace an hare, Or in dry land cause fishes to endure, And make the burning fire his heat to spare, And all this world encompass to forfare, As her to make by craft or engine stable That of her nature is ever variable. Serve her day and night, as reverently Upon thy knees as any servant may; And in conclusion, that thou shalt win thereby Shall not be worth thy service, I dare say. And look yet, what she giveth thee to day With labour won, she shall haply to morrow Pluck it again out of thine hand with sorrow. Wherefore if thou in surety list to stand, Take Poverty's part, and let proud Fortune go; Receive no thing that cometh from her hand. Love manner and virtue, they be only tho' Which double Fortune may not from thee frow. Then mayst thou boldly defy her turning chance, She can thee neither hinder nor advance. But an thou wilt needs meddle with her treasure, Trust not therein, and spend it liberally; Bear thee not proud, nor take not out of measure, Build not thine house on high up in the sky; None falleth far but he who climbeth high. Remember Nature sent thee hither bare, The gifts of Fortune, count them borrowed ware. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.